Hey everybody, how y'all doing? So good to see you. Having a fine time here and actually dealing with a couple of bruised ribs to be candid with you. And so a little tender. Oh, well, more than just a little tender. So I may not go the full hour, but hey, hope everyone is doing good. Speaking favor to all of us, BOSTO, be of service to others. It's the only way. It really is. And till we get to where we can be out of 1984, give the old virtual hug. You know, got my Sky pilot here. He says, "How you doing?" I have Sanji on the other side, but Sanji would require me to lift, and that ain't happening. I'm just going to tell you that ain't happening. So hope everyone is doing good. Crazy, crazy place. Um, how was your strong end of the week? Hey, I always look at it's a matter of perspective, right? I figure Friday is the end of the week. Saturday and Sunday is to play. And as the Allman Brothers off of live at the Fillmore East come Stormy Monday, says the eagle flies on Friday. Saturday, I go out to play. Sunday, I go to pray. And Monday, I go back to the dead, basically. That's what the job is. Hey, Deborah, what's up? So good to see everyone. Maddie, hello. Ay, 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 ay. Man, I'll tell you what. It's amazing how the things you don't even anticipate. And then, your body, it's a miracle of thought and the way that our bodies are built. Thought, you know, if you are a parent, all of us had parents. There, where we started, one egg, one sperm cell, and look what it produced. Meditated on that this weekend. Been reading this book. I enjoy reading because the reality that we're living in right now is, man, someone came and messed it up. I had some great conversations with Marsha Price over the weekend, and yeah. Uh, hey, Nina the Mystic, what happened? Just doing. Actually, I was working on our garage door, literally, and you know, it's amazing how it just happened. And when it happened, I knew it happened. I mean, it it wasn't one of those things that you go, "Oh, crap," but you go, "Okay, let's see how this begins to work out." So I've been reading this book by a guy by the name of Mark Prophet, and it's interesting. I don't quite dig right where his head is at and everything, but hey, when I go into a buffet, I don't try everything on the table. You know, I pick and choose, and anyway, it's called the Soulless Ones, a cloning of a counterfeit creation, and it really has a lot to do with what we're living in. Well, thank you, Nina. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. I really do. Yeah, it happens, man. My body heals. It'll heal itself. And, you know, we shall carry on, as they would say. Carry on, my wayward son. There will be peace when you are done. Yep. You know, I just love music. So, illusion is an illusion of deception. I saw some comments in there earlier, and it's interesting because it kind of follows with, the standard what is, oh man, tell you what. It's like, Jay, I should be able to do that with, not going ow. But all illusions are not deceptions, but all deceptions are illusions. That's kind of how it works out. And it's interesting because if you have illusion on the one hand, and then you have deception on the other. So the question is, to have a deception is to deceive. It is to misdirect. An illusion can be like a mirage. Many of you have ever crossed the desert or in the summertime, even on a freeway, and you can see that there's right in front of you, there's that illusion. Mirage is sometimes what it's called. We see mirages of cities in the clouds, ships that are over land that, oddly enough, are merely reflections. So, Brandy, I'm doing fine. Thank you. Thank you. I really am. It just, you just smile, it's like, okay, love hurts. Oh man, don't laugh. That really sucks. So, we are living in a false illusion. And by all evidence, it is a deception. Now, so you have in the 7 principles in the Kabbalion, we know that everything in the universe is mental. No matter if you have love, love is nothing more than hate. It's just a different line at a different point in a line. Everything is correspondence. Everything has frequency, vibration. And it's really interesting. Came across, and I've had these documents. It's been about 3, maybe 4 years ago, and I did one, but I didn't really get into it. But as time progresses, we get to observe. I mean, it's like this. I wish I was this observant a decade ago. Yeah, I was. We all were, but not to the sensitivity that it's happening today. And so, according to the CIA, everything is on vibration frequency. It makes reality. Music is an altered state of reality that we could coexist in one form of reality at a frequency, but music is a good example of that, and there's others. If you really are into alchemy, as I am into cooking, working with light, I love getting out there and doing experiments with light and lasers. But anyway, the point is, those things alter the frequency of which you and I, seems the whole world, is programmed into. And this is apparently a well-known fact. And what's really interesting, take for instance, okay, so let's just do a little experiment here. So you are the light. See that? You're the light. Light is photons. Photons, excitable. Photons can be, how shall we say, altered with sound frequency. We have different tones. Each one has a different effect on us. Put those. And it's interesting because let's go to this one. It's amazing just that alteration of sound brings things into well, the different spatial space of reality. Get that again. Each sound. Now these are intense. That was the key of C, I believe. Yes, it was. Here's another one. Higher key of C. And then finally, see, this is all interesting. Now, if you sit in a room where these tones are constant and can be intensified, focused, directed, you'd be surprised to see how well reality changes. It's true. And try these sometimes. If you have tuning forks or if you have Tibetan healing bowls, you know, I've got one, a big owl, I think, see, mine is F. I think owl's is C. Hey, Sarah Horton, what's up? Yeah, I mean, and frequency is healing. For instance, I know that this particular tone can, in fact, let that begin to penetrate, in this case, some bruised bones. And it's just like when I was recovering, when I was paralyzed, coming out of a coma, I was paralyzed on the right side of my body. And I got back because I learned two things: electricity and frequency, vibration. The TENS unit it's a remarkable device because a TENS unit sends an electrical signal through nerve endings that have been damaged. And if you do it diligently, and I did it diligently, I was not going to go through life with that type of side effect. And but that's what meningitis and Lyme disease does to people. So yeah. Hey, Jenny, what's up, girl? Missed you on Friday. I had things I had to do, but anyway, so this all got me to thinking about the reality that we're living in. We are really not in a reality. We're not. It's amazing what we perceive to be real and what is not real. And it's kind of freaky when you really get in tune to it, because it will jack with your it'll jack with your spatial perception and awareness. Your consciousness is in multiple dimensions. A spirit being cannot be held in density of matter. It can be encased, but even in cases of encasement, there is an energy that exceeds. Now, Stephen Hawkins would disagree with that. Before he died, in fact, 2 weeks before Stephen Hawkins died, he had basically wrote out what he saw to be the end of the world. And his view was that, and minds like Hawkins does, they come around every so often. But his reality was this: eventually, the energy of this universe will run out. He said mathematically, there's no other way of looking at it. Now, Stephen didn't really believe in the ether either, but he was aware of it. And because how do you define spirit? I mean, we're dealing with this whole discussion is, do you really have a soul? And I know most people, listen, it's the day and the age that we're taught. To be taught that you have a soul is, to me, that's what's going to trap you here. Just my opinion. Because, of all the knowledge that I have thus far chiseled out, knowledge does not come easily, nor without a price. I can see where Solomon came. When he wrote Lamentations, Ecclesiastics, he came to the same conclusion. You can have all the wisdom of the universe, but what are you going to do with it? Does it change anything? Solomon and many great thinkers, Buddhas, the Christ, just many, Aristotle, Shakespeare, Sir Francis Bacon. All great minds contemplate why. They struggled in their time with their reality as we struggle in our time with ours. Now, it could be argued that we may have had, I don't know, some things happen that they didn't have happen. Now, I am becoming more convinced that we are really on the ass end of the intelligence spectrum of man. We think we have evolved. We think we are advanced. We think that we have these great accomplishments, but something tells me that man, us, I think we've been around a long time. I think we've been around a long time. If this catastrophe theory is correct, evidence would point to it that it is. Jeff Bezos is getting out of town. You know why he's stepping down? He's going to his underground facility in West Texas, out in the middle of freaking nowhere. It's one thing I will say about West Texas. It's kind of like, New Mexico. I may have never been in the middle of nowhere, but I've been on the edge of it. And that's like living out in certain places in West Texas. Yeah, it's true. And so why is he bugging out? Does he know something that we don't know? What if this thing is cyclical? Then what is this reality that we're living in right now? It's some strange stuff going on out there. Marsha and I were communicating by email, and I told her, I said, the stuff I see now in what is perceived normalcy, I don't know if that word will ever have any meaning anymore, but these cats are stoned way, way beyond I've ever been. And I tell you, I've taken some trips out there. They've exceeded where I've never been. And that's the scary thing about it. And then I began to think about it. Well, what if there is really something that we did know about and we just haven't given enough thought? What if now, if the consequences of the experiment that went wrong has gotten so far out of hand that, I mean, you can't say that anything is not possible. What I'm talking about, let me pull this up. Do 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 do. So, y'all remember this? I did this back, oh, good grace, 2016, I think. So, this is the quantum computer. This is the D wave. Now, I and many others have been, we focused in on this event because of all the stuff, CERN and all the rest. I still say that this was the first domino to tip over. And here's why I think this. So you have a team of AI algorithms. They just completed a complex computer game. The algorithms capable of collaboration and teamwork can now outmaneuver human teams. This was accomplished June 25th, 2018. Now, this is significant because if you go by the fact that technology, we back in the day when we were developing the internet, particularly for commerce, that was back in the late 90s, folks. I mean, there wasn't Amazon. There wasn't any place that you could go and buy stuff. And when we were looking at the internet then, we had this thing called internet time. And if you were a company, as many of us were, looking for VC funding, because you had a unique product, and we did get VC funding, you could not rely. I would have people come in 24/7. My programmers and developers, if they wanted to come in at 2 o'clock in the morning, I didn't give a damn. As long as they got what they got done, and those wizards, they did some magic. Anyway, I digress. So I won't get into all of the complexities of what a qubit is and why this is fundamentally important to understand that this is reality. Look around you, touch yourself, well, hug yourself, and realize that this is what you're doing. This is you. This is reality. We get into, all the elements, because now we're dealing in this thing of quantum, and it gets really, really weird. Now, what is interesting about where D-Wave went, and we're way beyond this now, folks. I mean, this is like reading ancient Egyptian history. Here's a quote that Tesla knows, and most people are never aware of this. Tesla said, only the existence of a field of force can account for the motions of the bodies as observed, and its assumption dispenses with space curvature. All literature on this subject is futile and destined to oblivion. So are all attempts to explain the workings of the universe without recognizing the existence of the ether and the indispensable function it plays in this phenomena. My second discovery was a physical truth of the greatest importance. As I have searched the entire scientific records in more than a half dozen languages for a long time without finding the least anticipation, I consider myself for the original discovery of this truth, which can be expressed by this statement. There is no energy in matter other than that received from the environment, the ether force. Now, this is what's so really interesting. So when they did this and they accomplished this, things began to really come out because they were using some rather interesting choice of words. This is David Dershowitz, The Fabric of Reality, Dr. David Dershowitz. Quantum computation will be the first technology that allows useful tasks to be performed in the collaboration between parallel universes. Okay. The average person doesn't think about this thing. They got Netflix and, some great science fiction minds that are now using science blended with the fiction of possibility. Now, this is what their founder said when they turned the thing on. He said it was like being at the altar of an alien god. Now, that's some interesting tech talk. I mean, I can't quite recall us ever using that term for our platform or our software, but maybe this wasn't a metaphor. Maybe this wasn't allegorical. Maybe this is exactly what happened. You see, this is the only evidence I can find at a point in time where realities were breached. I have a theory, and it's not my own. It's out there. I mean, I came to the conclusion that when we began to split the atom in our atmosphere, even under the ground, it didn't matter because the space doesn't give a damn if you're outside a planet or inside a planet. But if you're starting to split atoms, you're starting to split realities. And of course, the one that almost got away, the hydrogen test, that we were within, some say, seconds of a complete obliteration of the space-time continuum. We were that close. So what if we came into a time where something did come in? Lisa Randall said the universe has its secrets. Extra dimensions of space might be one of them. If so, the universe has been hiding those dimensions, protecting them, keeping them coyly under wraps. From a casual glance, you would never suspect a thing. String theory. I mean, this has been Freeman, others, Hawkins, all of them talked about parallel dimensions. Now this is important, folks. Time is the fourth dimension. Remember that. When I hear so often people say we live in a 3D world, no, we do not. We're living in the fourth dimension. We left the third dimension when time became relevant. We're multidimensional beings coexisting in multiple dimensions, first, second, third dimensions, and now we know that time is in fact relevant. Even Einstein said it's relative. So here's the point. You, believe it or not, are so complex. you most likely are popped into this reality, this dimension, merely to experience it, because it's like sticking your head in through a window. And so here's the point, and fact check me on this one. If one particle is altered, it changes everything. It has a cascadian effect. So just putting it out there. What if something did happen? I mean, think about it. Yeah, like origami. Yeah. I mean, I keep thinking about this. We talk about the Mandela effect. Listen, we know. I documented what happened on November. I'm trying to think. Give me a second here. I'm thinking on 2016. I believe that was November 6th. I could be wrong. But there was something that happened. There was a noticeable shift in, I don't know, space-time? And things changed. There was something that changed, and we began to see what I called ripple effects, where it seemed like something was trying to change what had taken place on November 6th, 2016, and I'll fact check myself on the date. And there were people that still have the emails who wrote me and said their mate, their husband was not the right husband. Hello, Blanc, how are you doing? So, and I heard that from a lot of people. It's really weird when it happens. And I don't know about you, but there's more and more people experiencing what they call deja vu. I don't know about you, but my wife and I are actually documenting this when these events are happening, because they're becoming more intense. They seem to be almost the ability to step back in time, and as well to step in forward in time. I'll be candid with you. There was something that happened. I was reading and Lynn was reading, and man, I was hit, boom, with this thought. Damn, baby. And it was so profound, so intense. I made note of it. And Lynn turned around and she said, something just came to you. And I said, yeah. She said, it's interesting. I could actually feel it when it was coming into you. And so there it is. By the way, someone said something about a brown recluse spider bite. You need to go to a doctor on that one, because that one is nasty. It is, for most spider bites, because all arachnids are venomous, just not all bite. But if you ever do get bit, outside of something like a recluse, tobacco, ideally just spit on it. I know it sounds gross, but listen, the Amazonian tribes and the people in other cultures, they know the importance of saliva. Saliva will help you get fermentation going. But anyways, tobacco and your spit, and work that in there until you actually start breaking the tobacco juice down, and you put it on there, pack it in there, and leave it on there until it eventually will dry. It will pull the poison out. And honey, particularly if you can get unrefined honey, um, is also a great one. So there we go. Oh, wow. I just reading that Eric Blair's. That's interesting. Yeah. 7P says tobacco is a pesticide. I know this. It also works. Bee stings. Yeah. My grandfather, he was a true wizard, and it worked because it happened all the time. So there you go. Man. So anyway, as they say, man, I'm working through the discomfort. Consciously aware? Yeah, I know many of you all are. I've seen some of them already. It's cool. And this is my way of protesting silently. I don't have to say a word and get my point across, right? All we are saying stuff works. Yeah, it does. Snuff works as well. That's true. Absolutely. By the way, I know this, many of you probably have seen this, but it really kind of gets to what we're talking about here as well. This is an interesting document, came out a couple of years ago. It is hard to find. I went on the CIA archive. You can do that, by the way. It's a lot of fun. It really is. I mean, you can go into the CIA archives and just have yourself a wonderful afternoon of exploring stuff you wouldn't even think about. But anyway, these two papers were in fact um, confirmation from the CIA's point of view that altered realities actually physically do exist, and that we human beings, this was from the Monroe Institute. This was the Gateway experience. It's interesting because they talk about, according, in hypnosis, how it works. I won't get into it, but it's quite interesting. Let me just say this. Certain microwaves at certain frequencies at certain intensities will have a certain effect on things like the cerebral cortex, the prefrontal lobes as well. Yep. That's the way we do. And anyway, so what the CIA did here was talking about transcendental meditation. This be true. The reason why I know a lot of this to be true, because I was a part of a group where we were given LSD, clinical LSD. We were taught, and we did have the wires on us that, were measuring the intensity of what was going on in our brains. But we were taught how to meditate, transcendental meditation. We also did flashcards. We also did complex math problems. Then we did a lot of weird stuff. But anyway, this is what they found out. Now you can get this. I have it if you want it. You can go and read it yourself. But what you begin to find out was that, this thing we call the brain, when you look at the sensory cortex, I mean, it's it's one of the reasons why humans like to be self-anesthetized. There's something about this place that, well, we don't like it here. And check me out on this. You can look at any anthropologist work. We have found honey wine. I mean, it's something that we as humans, we got it in there. So this gets really into it because it gets into the psychosis of the Kundalini. I don't know if that's a psychosis or not, but hey, listen, they're the one who wrote the paper. I did not. It gets into transcendence. Now, we know they did a movie on this, and they tried to do the reason why we have, the CIA and the black ops and, the shadow government. They put out a movie called Staring at Goats. And if you get a chance, it's kind of funny. George Clooney plays in it, but it was actually taken from the fact that that really did happen. Now, what was interesting, because they really didn't get into all of that, was the fact within this, we learned, for instance, that you and I, we can actually penetrate gateways, what they call the hemisync. On this one is really interesting because, and you've got to read it if you want. It's what the Monroe Institute found out, folks. When you begin to be trained, you can go tripping and not even need to take the tipping. You can just simply walk right through there. It's quite interesting what happens. And like I said, we don't have time enough. And sometimes this, I'm going to take a break is what I'm going to do, but we'll get more into this. And there is yet another paper on this. And this one in here is about the experiments that were taking place in the Monroe Institute. And folks, we will get into more of this because this has so much to do with all of us. Do you know that there is, in fact, entertainment? The reason why we have entertainment is it does some pretty interesting stuff to us up here and for our whole body. And we'll probably get into more of this probably on Wednesday. I have Miss Trina tomorrow, and hopefully I'll have a little bit more healing going on here. But we've got to get into this because this gets into the electromagnetic fields. There's a reason why poltergeists, people feel that there are spirits, is that you can get inside an EMF field where it starts really jacking with your core interface to this realm here. Now, death will do it, but the transcendence of consciousness is not just a theory. It's not just a religious ideology. It, in fact, does happen. I still contend we don't know what really truly awaits on the other side. I think we've had small glimpses, but I still think it's far more complex. I think it's, to be candid with you, I don't think it's this paradise. I think it is very dangerous. I think it has far more risk than most human energies that pass over or even prepare for, and they get suckered literally into something that I think that we don't have to deal with. I'm just convinced of it. I don't believe that there is a God per se by a personification. I think that's man's. Listen, you see what this says? No, you can't, can you? No, you can't, because it blocks me out. Listen, God is nothing more than a thought form of man. I do believe that there is something that far extends even the concept of God, but that's just me. And I think that this passing over, I mean, we'll all find out eventually, but I think it's, like I said, they invented these religions for a reason. That's all I got to know. Thank you, Blanca. I'm trying to read everything. It's all entertainment until we take something seriously. Deborah, isn't that profound? Yes. Paul Joe, yeah, photons at work. Absolutely. You know, that's the interesting thing. I never can understand about these ghost hunters, these people going out in the paranormal and how they get scared. Isn't that the reason why you're there to begin with? So something happens, something falls, you know, stop and get your head together. I mean, what you need to do is be measuring how is the kinetic energy? What type of kinetic energy did it take to move such an object? And if you're seeing something materialize, then what you're seeing is the alterations of photons. How is that being done? I ain't buying this crap of good and evil. Let me tell you what, that's the trap. There is no good or evil. Listen, if you say that there's good, what definition are you using? Whose perspection are you using for good? How do you define good? How can you define good? And if you're using evil, what is evil? You see, I don't buy it. It sounds cold, but every God that I've ever read about on this earth apparently has that same attitude. So it seems like they may know something. Al Wilmington says, all is mind and all is vibration. Yep. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Carol. you know, but it's so true, you know, and you look at what today, you know, I know most of the world was watching, there was some game on yet yesterday. I don't even watch that, you know, anymore. It, to me, that is such, I don't need the programming. Why would I go in and let someone drill into my freaking consciousness that crap, you know, that is totally meaningless? It absolutely does nothing but entertain you. What is it, the famous line Russell Crowe said in Gladiator? Are you entertained? Well, tell me, are you entertained? You know, that's why channels like this, we don't get the real big growth. Why? Because this is not fun. This is not mindless programming that, you know, I don't have to think, you know. OMG, you got to think? Well, I don't like thinking about if I have a soul or not. You know, I just like what they feed me. Well, that's it. Oh, man. Anyway, folks, whew, you know, I don't know. And then you know, this is just, you know, my gig at that. I know a lot of people enjoy the game, and you know, there was a time when, yeah, but it is fun. All right, is that okay? Well, if it was entertaining, that's what happens, right? Uh, again, that's why we build these epitaphs, these stadiums. You know, we've done this as a species as far back. You know, the Romans weren't this the first. You know, we've had the arena games that went way back, because we love playing games. I'm going to do a whole hour on. You see, I'm convinced we're gods, and as gods, the one thing that is hell for us, or what we call that nothing place is boredom. And as gods, we will do anything not to be bored, ever. Boredom is death. And so we love playing the games, whether we're the victor or the victim, because it's the game. Every game has a winner, every game has a loser. That's why we play the games, that's why we invent the games. Hey, Miss Trina. So Trina and I'll be on tomorrow. We'll figure out what we're going to be talking about. We'll figure out something. Hey, David Castle, how are you doing? I'll tell you what, saw Miss Sarah on with Robert V the other night. Looking good there, Miss Sarah, as always. Was really creeped out about the Mars commercial. What was that about? Does anyone, Deborah, did you know what that was? Boredom sucks, donkey balls. Yes, Jenny, you be absolutely right. It's like, oh no, I can't be bored. People I've called before and they said, what's wrong? What's up? I'm bored. I said, how in the freak can you be bored? I don't know. I ain't got nothing to do. I said, really? You're in probably one of the most miraculous experiences and you're bored? Okay. I'm trying to see, people are buying tickets to Mars. Now, you see what happens when you're not plugged in? I would not have known that. Weird. I will look into that. Bruce Springsteen. I liked his verse early albums, and that after that, yeah. Guy, I can believe that, hon. Never been bored. Your energy just yeah. Hey, Gaza, what's up? Red Honey 9, what's going on? Only boring people get bored. Oh man, yes, indeed. It's so good to see everyone out there. I'm just reading what y'all are doing. All right, folks. Well, Sarah, you're a beautiful spirit being and a great healer. Gaia, right back at you. And Susie Q, absolutely. No doubt about it. Hey, Isby, what's happening? James, you're absolutely correct. I need to get in touch with Mother Nature. Mother Nature, if you happen to be hearing this, email me. I know you stop in from time to time. Bonnie, yes, I am. I'm telling you what, I am going to get better. And going to put something on there. Ribs, I love eating them. I just don't like when they're bruised on me. Yes, I shall, Miss Nina. I will. Hey, Emperor X. Ever try the God pill? Well, I don't know what exactly that is, Emperor X. Let me know. I don't know. You see, in my mind, I've got a constant concert going on. I mean, I can pull up any group and go, yeah, I remember that. Thank you, Guy. I appreciate that, hon. All right, folks, we'll be here tomorrow. Ribs take long to heal. They don't take that long to cook either. Oh man, I can't be doing that. That just sucks. Oh, DMT. I have not tried DMT. No, I have not. No. Mother Nature is cool. I have to tell you, that is, oh, Jenny, fermented cabbage. No. I can smell cabbage, Jenny, and it takes me back to where I was living with my mother in 1962. That wasn't a pleasant time. Oh man. All right. Thank you, Isby. Appreciate it. David Castle, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Doc Illusion, thank you very much. Well, send me an email, Doc. Love to have you come on something like that. You know, in fact, if you've Erica says, I love cabbage. Oh, I can't say that I do, but anyway, I mean, to each his own, right? That's the way I look at it. But yeah, if you have direct experience with Olaf, love to have you on. I know, Tanya, I know. But you know, it's just some of those things. Some of us are just, you know, some call it potatoes, some call it potatoes, you know, some tomatoes, some tomatoes. That's all. Thank you, Robert V. Yeah, you really enjoy your shows as well. All right, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow with Miss Trina. Now, I can eat coleslaw, and I know that that is raw cabbage, yes. But boy, it does have a way to work on the intestines, doesn't it? Oh, man. All right. Peace out, everyone. Much love to you. All right. Bye-bye.